Okay, it's day 102, and this is part 5. This is going to be technical, so don't watch this if you don't want the technical piece. I'm going to also do the Carter Page piece. So I'm going to do the phones piece and then the Carter Page piece. I've talked a lot about a presidential decision directive, 62, which was signed by Bill Clinton, but mainly at the behest of Hillary Clinton in I think it was May 4th, 1998. But the gist of it basically was a big spying program. And then everything that goes after that, which is smears for Fusion 1 GPS, Fusion GPS, Uranium 1 smears. You're going to find all these farmers and ranchers smeared. You're going to have Fusion GPS smearing overseas, mostly before that, under different auspices. But 2011 really gets ramped up with Fusion GPS and smearing ranchers and so forth. They handle all the press coverage of that and so forth, and that's coming. It's coming, but we need to see more transactions and so forth as that comes out today. We're going to have a lot more information. Things are going to be a lot more believable after 5 o'clock, and you never know. We have the 99-page memo, so there's no real surprise what's coming. It's just what did Devin Nunes' staff pick out of there. I mean, it's written by Contreras. It's not written by Devin Nunes. There's just a lot more documents they had access to. They were pointed in the direction of a lot of more documents. So if you don't remember the 99-page memo, it said this: GCHQ was sitting there right next to NSA under Five Eyes agreement, and they were doing, basically as fast as they could, doing full data object grabs of screenshots of Gmail, and then grabbing everybody on the list, being able to use a hacking tool, Vault 7 hacking tools. Go right down if you had a social media account, if you had this Gmail, if you had a Yahoo email, if you had this or that, and go in and get it. And the reason why they did all these OPM hacks and these Yahoo hacks and so forth was to cover that parallel construction. You always find that with Andy. It's always a parallel construction, and it's really a John Brennan thing that Andy and John have been doing a long time. So Andy really works a lot in Russia, and he's had more experience in that in the with Russian FSB. You're going to find Nellie Orr has been a very close contact of his for a long, long time. I think since 1990. Well, I'm going to say 2001 just to be safe. And the idea is have an oligarch in mind that you want to promote from FSB, smear some individual that raised a company from nothing, and like they did at Transport Logistics, take over. Sechin is the guy who's going to be taking over, Sechin. It's like such a chin. That was also the one that Huma gave a password to, I believe, the such a chin guy, but it was a different guy. But Sechin, the top FSB guy, the right-hand man of Putin. And so that was the 50-50 joint venture, or probably not 50-50, but the oligarchs got some of the money, Hillary got some of the money. And this has been going on for 20 years. Actually, it's been going on since the fall of the Soviet Union, but it's just gotten worse every year. And so they're going to send Carter Page over there. Andy's going to send Carter Page over there. They're going to do a transaction. They're going to say he met with, Sechin, the number 2 guy. Who would meet with Carter Page? He's kind of a dummy. Anyway, he's not a dummy. Navy Intel, good Navy Intel guy. Used to work in the congressional office of Omar Awan. You can look it up. It's Carter Page, San Diego, Navy Intel. So I believe that what happened was the pair was picked up after that meeting. After that meeting, there's a $500 million transfer that it looks like is made. It's good, at least they're going to present that in the FISA to the warrant. I don't actually believe the $500 million was ever transferred. Rosneft is the company that it's going to be, $500 million transfer. It never happened. I don't know if Alpha Bank's going to be involved or not, or Deutsche Bank. I think there is a fake transaction coming. That false FISA allowed Carter Page to become a poison page. Not a poison pill, but a poison page. Now, every person after that Carter Page communicated with became a valid target of FISA. So the poison page goes around and touches everybody. It's kind of like that tag game, Frozen, where you tag different people and they all become frozen. Yeah, it's the same thing. That was Carter Page's role to be the poison page. It touches all these folks. That allows NSA to do a deep dive on all those conversation pairs. That's what happened. So, and also once your phone line is tapped, you're also a target now for your cell phone being replaced. I'm going to say it right now. I know how hard this is for people to believe, but this 20-year project, PDD 62, they replaced a lot of, or created a parallel network in most major cities where there are fusion centers. In the 35 major cities where there are fusion centers for the cities, near ports usually, there's an alternative network that they give to targets. They give them a different phone, different chip, and that they go on that network. You think you're communicating to, Verizon to Verizon, but you actually go through this backbone called an SS7. I think it's called an SS8 backbone now, and that allows you to tap everything. You see everything, just like if I was trying to go between a Verizon network and a AT&T network. There's the SS7 backbone to get it from one network to the other. That's where you sit in the middle, and that's where you intercept it. That's what they did with the SIM boxes. That's what PAC ISI 111 did with the SIM boxes in India to tap all the generals in India and all the political and all the judges and so forth. And that's what Andy has done over the last 20 years. This is just the very tip of the iceberg, very tip of the iceberg. So I don't know how much of that Nunes is going to say, so that's a good suspense. You don't have to prove stuff that comes out. So after it, with all the sourcing, so it'll be interesting to see all the sourcing. Hopefully Eric Swalwell will say, where's your proof? And then Trump could push all that. Time's coming for you too, Eric. Sandia Labs, Lawrence Livermore, Black Ivy. I'm just going to say it right now. So I'll leave it right there. I know this is kind of technical, and it's kind of maybe boring, but it's important to know the technique and modus operandi, because literally you're using this technology no longer now to target people overseas, oligarchs and people who own oil or mining rights overseas, to put your guy in there, your FSB guy in there, your Ahmedchin guy in there. Nellie Orr is going to be important in this whole process, by the way, with Fusion GPS. But now you're targeting Americans. And that when this shifted, this is where I had the problem. When this shifted to Oregon, I published Lloyd Finicum earlier today. When it shifted toward the Bundys, when it shifted toward these individuals in the United States, because they used the highly enriched uranium for something else, they had to backfill, and they went after Americans to do the backfill. And that is the part that I had the big trouble with. And I'm not talking about, just ruining somebody. I'm talking about making it so they commit suicide, become penniless. You saw Lloyd Finicum at the end of his rope. That's the program. It's COINTELPRO 2. Ask Sibel Edmonds if Trump takes the gag order off of Sibel Edmonds, all this stuff will come out. Or declassify PDD 62. That'd be the easiest thing to do.